Hello everyone, my name is Kate Marshall. The name of my channel is called Inked Paper Art, and today's video is day 143 of 365 days of junk journal ideas. I do a short 15-minute video every day teaching you guys how to make a different piece of ephemera for junk journals. Today we are going to make a interesting fold tag pocket situation. Not really sure what to call it. I know this exists out there in junk journal world. I don't know what it's called or where I saw it first, but I'm just going to make my version of it. So let's go ahead and get started. You can use a digital for this project. You could use book page if you have a larger book page for this project. You could use music paper like I'm using. I like music paper because it is a larger, 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. A little over that, 9 by 12 works good too. So let's get started. It's very simple and fast to make today. So basically, you're going to take whatever size paper you have, and you can make this larger or smaller, doesn't really matter. Whatever size paper you have, hopefully it is double-sided. If it's not double-sided, it will still work out fine. You just may do some additional decorating in the end. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your paper and you're going to decide, if it's a directional pattern, whatever, you're going to figure that part out. For mine, it's not directional. All I'm going to do is fold my piece of paper in half, just like this. So there's that. Hopefully I can fold it in half straight. Just fold it in half. And then from here, you're going to take the side that is open, and you're going to fold that over. And you want to fold it so that you have a little bit of a lip here, but mostly you want to see what is going to be tucked back here. So I'm just going to fold it over about 1.5 inches. I'm going to line up my edges to try to keep that fold straight. The most important thing is that your fold is straight. You can see mine is slightly off. Not going to care about it. And so we folded both pieces over. You're going to leave the bottom one on this side, and you're going to fold that one back to the other side back here. It was just easier to fold it that way to get them to line up here. So anyway, fold both together and you have no problem lining them up. So from here, you can kind of see what took shape is we're going to have a pocket here. We're going to have a pocket on the back side here, and we're also going to make a pocket in between here, okay? So in order to do this, we need to do some gluing, and then we'll do some cutting. So we're going to glue the top. We're going to glue straight across the top. We'll be cutting this into a tag shape. You don't have to, but you could cut it into a tag shape. And so because I think I'm going to cut it into a tag shape, I am going to glue it down just a little bit. And I did glue both sides just because I want to make sure I've got enough glue there. And then across the bottom, again, just glue a straight line across the bottom. I'm using the music and just kind of lining it up there, getting plenty of glue, and then close. And so now you have the middle pocket created. The middle pocket, meaning what's in between the two pieces here. So you're going to have a pocket in there. Okay, now we need to deal with this situation here. You have options. You could just glue the bottom and then it's just a little tuck. I'm going to go ahead and glue top and bottom closed on both sides. So I'm going to glue here, and I'm adding a little more because we are going to cut it to tag shape. And when we cut it to tag shape, you're going to lose a little bit of that glued area. So there's that, folded closed. And we're going to do the same thing on the back side. Glue this and glue this, and then fold that closed. Okay, so now you see why we need double-sided paper, because if you don't have double-sided paper, this little strip here is going to be white. That's fine. You can decorate it. You can add a piece of paper to cover it, whatever you want to do. But now we've created that pocket on both sides, just like this, and you've created that pocket in between. Now I have a rough torn edge at the bottom. If you don't like that, then you can trim yours off. I kind of like it. It's just where I tore it out of the book, so I'm going to leave it. Now we're going to cut it into a tag shape here. When we cut it to a tag shape here, this is going to come open and you're just going to re-glue it. It depends on how much of an angle you make your tag, but I'm not going to worry about it. I find it's easier for me to just do it as I've already glued it. And so I've glued down far enough where mine didn't pop open. But sometimes if you don't glue down, it will. And if it pops open, then you're just going to add, like right here, I got a little tiny bit of glue there. If it does pop open after you cut it, just add a little bit of glue in there and seal it back up. So that's the way I like to do it. If it's easier for you to cut first and then fold, go for it. But that's that. So now our pocket is created. We have a large tag and we have pockets everywhere. So let's start filling up these pockets. You could put hole reinforcer up at the top. I think I'm going to do that. I just like the way it looks. So let's go ahead and get started with that guy. Hole reinforcers are here. I already have some kind of darkened, so let's use these two. And we're just going to pop some glue on them. Just quickly. Position that kind of in the center. Again, you're going to lose a little of your pocket. Our tag is so ginormous. It really doesn't matter. I'm just positioning center as much as I can. And then I'm going to punch that hole. And so these are large tags. If you made it with a smaller book page, then your tag will be smaller, or whatever size paper you're using. It can vary, right? It can be smaller, larger. So there's that. And then I'm just going to glue my other one on the back side. Very simple, but we have so much space to play with. So let's make some tags and or journal cards and put them in there. And so these elements would go in a large pocket in a junk journal, right? They could be floating because they do have pockets on both sides of them. So they could be floating little pocket situations. All right, so there's that. Done there, done there. For the things that go inside the front, you have options like you could do like a pre-made tag like this. I have a hole reinforcer, so I'm not really looking for another hole reinforcer, but you could do like a pre-made tag. You could do a coffee dyed tag. If you want to do that, go for it. That's fine. I'm going to do something out of cardstock that's patterned. I am going to decorate the front of both of these, and I'm going to be adding the tags in both sides and the journal card here. So let's work on the journal card for inside of the pocket. We might actually use these. So these are the French country digitals that are coming to the Etsy. I am working on them now. I promise to get them done soon. I've printed the coffee dyed papers from my Etsy store. So these are the coffee dyed digitals. I printed them on the back side. And these are the French country digitals that are coming soon. Okay, so I'm going to use this one. I think it fits for my project. Let's cut this down and make some large tags. So our little envelope, just, you guys were probably going to ask me in comments anyway, but just so you know, we ended up with about 4 1/16 or so. 4 1/16, and right now it is 8 3/4. I might trim some off the bottom. I left it big, we'll see. And then we're going to trim this down and make some tags. So I'm going to do 3 1/2 inch tag. Actually 3 3/4 to go inside the center pocket. 3 3/4. 3 3/4, and from here I can decide if I really want all of this or not, and we have a small piece left over. So let's see if we stick this in here. We're going to need to trim some off the bottom, but do I want this in here or do I want this in here? I think we're going to trim and make these go inside of these little pockets right here. So let's trim both of these together at the same time. And you might choose 2 different patterns of paper or something like that. You don't have to have all the same theme. So like this one's going to go in this side right here. Perfect. And I am going to leave these journal cards. We already have a tag shape. I don't feel like I need another tag shape. I'm going to switch. No, that actually works better. I want to see the roses from the outside. So I was going to switch, but then I'd cover up that one. So that's good. Let's look at trimming this pocket down just a little bit because it is very large. So simple fix for that. I'm going to trim it. I'm going to trim it to about 7 1/2. Now that does mean I will need to re-glue down there. No big deal. Let's trim that. And then we'll just quickly re-glue our whole pocket situation. No big deal. And we're back. I really like the idea of the rough torn edge and the super large pocket. I just don't know where exactly I'm going to stick it in a journal yet. So I did trim it down Now my tag won't fit. No big deal on that one either. We're going to trim those again. So cut your pocket, your little pocket that we made, cut it to the right size in the first place, and then you won't have all this additional trimming. There we go. So now I have 2 smaller journal cards and that tag. Perfection. Love it. So I ended up about 7 inches in height for the pocket by 4 1/16. So basically 7 by 4. Love that. Okay, let's get to decorating. Now this already has coffee dyed paper on the back. They can journal on that. Not worried about that. We'll need to ink around those, but let's decorate the front of this right here and right here. So I'm going to decorate just this little bit because your journal cards are going to cover up back there. So let's do that quick. I have some German scrap roses. I'm going to go with this whole red theme here. So I've got some German scrap roses and I'm just going to snip those out and put those on right there. And I think that's just the perfect amount of decoration. You already have the music paper back there, so you don't really need to decorate a whole big bunch. You've got a background already. If you use copy dyed printed digitals on the back of your tags or journal cards that go in the little pockets, then you already have that part done. So this really could be like a mass make where you sit and you make many of them. I'm going to sit and make 3 of them so that I can put one in every journal. But there's a little rose for that side. We'll do a different little rose for the back side. Let's do this one here. This one's super sweet. So this one is more of the pink range of color, but that is a pinkish red floral cardstock. And it's just a digital that I printed on cardstock. And again, they will be in Etsy in a matter of days, if not tonight. I'm trying to work on them and get them done tonight, but I have many videos to film, so we'll see. So there's that rose for that side. So we have some roses. Now you could do a little label or something different there. I'm actually going to switch them and put this on this side. They don't really need inked or anything. You can put them on with some glue stick. And so very simple little decoration on the front of it. Again, great mass make project. And we're going to make that journal card for the inside as well. So, or maybe we'll stick a tag in there. I don't know. We'll find out. Maybe we'll stick a tag inside of the center pocket because we have journal cards on the front. Could be. No plan. We'll just craft. We'll just craft together and figure it out. All right, so there's that guy. And he's going to go right here minus that chunk of glue. Right there. I don't want him sticking over, so I do need to straighten him out a bit. There's that one. And this guy, I'll try to reclaim my glue. There we go. These little German scraps, they're embossed, and so they do tend to chunk out your glue stick occasionally. And there's that one, and I'll put him at more of an angle. Now I might come in and do a little, I'm going to ink the whole thing, but I might come in and do like a little label or a little number stamp or something just on one side to make it slightly different so they're not same. Let's work on this little journal card for here. It's actually quite a big pocket. It's possible that we could use, I don't have the right size one in front of me, but it's possible that we could use just like a coffee dyed index card, a larger one, and stick that in there. We kind of did that in yesterday's project though. So let's talk about something different that we could stick in here. Maybe we fold up some coffee dyed paper and we stick that in there so that they can have a whole extra piece of journaling paper. Let me think on that while I ink the 2 of these, and we'll ink the whole thing. So possibilities. Let me get it inked and I will come back and let you guys know what we're doing for that center pocket. All right, so they've multiplied and we're going to make the journal card that goes in the center pocket. To do that, I'm going to start off with a coffee dyed index card for my base. This is a 4x6 size card. I'm going to use the napkin that came in your kit to decoupage down onto the card for background. Now, I've done these a couple different ways. I've made some off camera, and I'll show you all of the finished ones too. And this is the way I've decided I like to do this for this project. I like the wallpapery background, which is this, to look a little more worn and rustic. And so I've been playing with technique for using the UHU glue stick to glue down napkin to the whatever surface you're using. So first of all, I removed 2 layers of the backing, so I just have that top printed layer. And I'm going to take my glue stick and decide where I want the wallpapery background, the napkin, to stick. And so you can stick it, you know, in an arced angle like we normally would do with book page or whatever. For this one, I'm going to come down from the top. And so I'm just going to put it on randomly like this. Just kind of random. And then in some places, I'm going to do it down. And other places, I'm just going to leave it up here at the top. So I don't want any chunks of glue. So something like this, where it's really a messy edge. And that messy edge is going to help us when we stick down our napkin to get the pieces stuck where we want it. So we're trying to get it on there straight. If we get a wrinkle, no big deal. We'll be able to smooth that out with our hand. And so there's that. It's just kind of stuck on there randomly at this point. Got a little tear there, not a big deal. Like I said, I want this to look worn. So the point is it's going to have a raggedy edge and look worn when we're done with it. You're going to let this dry before you try to move on to the next step. But after this dries a little bit, we'll be able to tear off the edge. The edge will tear raggedy, which is what I'm looking for. In my mind, this is some old backgroundy wallpaper or something like that. So I'm just going to trim this top edge straight. And then this bottom edge is going to pull off here in just a second. And what we're looking for is we're looking for something that looks like this, where we've got it very rough torn here down the edge. So it's extremely rough, kind of looks like old wallpaper in the background. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this one, even though it is not dry. I would advise you guys to wait for it to be dry, but see how it's just going to pull up in some places, and I'm going to follow my glue, and it's going to pull down in other places. There we go, just like that. Now, if this is stuck, I'm going to leave it. This isn't stuck, so I'll pull that off or smooth it down. But anyway, we end up with this raggedy looking edge, which I love. I did get a sizable wrinkle right there, which I'm going to try to straighten out. And then we're going to glue down whatever it is that our decorative piece on the front of it is. So for this one, I've chosen a lady from the French fashion magazine. So basically, in the French fashion magazine, you get some full ladies, right? Because it's just whatever they have, but you often have these ones that are just half ladies. And so those are perfect to put onto journal cards. So we're going to put that lady onto this journal card. I've already got her cut out and I've already chosen a label. So this is going to be pretty quick once we get it going. You do need to be careful when you're using the originals, because these are originals from 1880. You want to make sure that you're being gentle with your glue stick. I do recommend glue stick. I just recommend that you are careful with it. Make sure that you're going in one direction only, that you're not pushing hard, and that you don't have glue on your mat or whatever is behind here, your glue paper, because if there's already glue back there, she's going to stick and then you're going to have a hard time. Now, this journal card has the wallpaper background all the way. Like I said, I was experimenting on which way I like it, and I have decided that I like it best with the partial wallpaper. You guys know it's not wallpaper, but I'm just going to keep calling it wallpaper. So there's that. There's our lady. She's going to go on there. Beautiful. We're going to ink around the whole journal card here in just a moment. Get that down there, making sure I don't have any glue stuck to her. And then we're going to stick this little label on. Super simple, but really pretty at the same time. This whole project's really pretty. And you guys are like, well, you didn't decorate the journal cards, because somebody will always say it. You didn't decorate the journal cards inside of the little pockets on the front. And so I will talk about that really quickly. So this is going to dry. When it's dry, it's going to slide into the pocket in the in-between here. Where's my pocket? My pocket, my fingers are all gluey. My pocket is right here. So when this is dry, it's not dry yet, but when it is, I will slide it in here. So you'll have the blue wallpapery stuff coming out of the journal card inside of here. We're going to ink around it and make it look framed. But for these guys that are sticking in the front pockets here, I made 3, so you can You can do whatever you want with them. But I'm going to use some of these little focal points more than likely. I just haven't decided which focal points I want yet. But all of the focal points will work with this project. It doesn't really matter which one you choose. Just choose something that you like and put them on there. Maybe we'll do red ladies on this project because we did blue ladies yesterday. But anyway, that's the plan for those. Just don't have time in this video to get all 6 of them done. But I think we did pretty good job with 3 pieces of ephemera with multiple journal cards, tags, whatever inside of it. Hopefully you guys like the project. I will see you guys again tomorrow. Bye, guys.